Welcome to Power of Words, where we explore the English language in a fun and easy way. I'm Ethan, and joining me today is Clara.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to be here and learn some new words with you today.
Absolutely. In this episode, we're diving into the world of politics. Politics is something we hear about every day, especially in the news, but understanding some key terms can help you follow important conversations. I'll teach you some useful political vocabulary, and we'll practice using them. Ready?
Let's do it.
Alright, in this first segment, we're going to be talking about some key political terms. So the first word we're going to learn is legislation.
Legislation? What does that mean?
Good question. Legislation refers to laws that are created or changed by government. It's like the official set of rules that shape how a country or community works.
So like when the government passes a law?
Exactly. For example, the government introduced new legislation to protect the environment.
Oh, I see. So it's the process of making laws. Am I correct?
Right, you're right. Now let's move on to policy.
So what's the difference between legislation and policy?
Great question. A policy is a rule or plan made by a government, business, or even a person to guide decisions. It's a bit broader than legislation. For example, you could say the school's policy does not allow students to use mobile phones during class.
Oh, okay. So it's like a guideline or a set of rules to follow.
Exactly. Next, we have diplomacy. Diplomacy is how countries communicate and solve problems peacefully instead of fighting.
Oh, like when countries try to avoid war by talking it out?
Yes, that's diplomacy. For example, the president used diplomacy to improve relationships with other countries.
So diplomacy, it's about peaceful communication and resolving conflicts? Got it.
Okay, so in the second segment, we'll be talking about political systems and concepts. So next up on the list, we have bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. That sounds complicated to me.
Yep, it can be complicated. Bureaucracy refers to the system of government that involves many officials and rules, which can sometimes slow things down. It's about the official processes and paperwork.
So if I had to wait a long time for something official like a visa, that would be bureaucracy at work?
Exactly. For example, you could say it took 2 weeks to get my visa because of all the bureaucracy.
Okay, I see. Lots of rules and delays. What's next?
Our next word is coalition. A coalition is when different political groups or parties work together to achieve a common goal.
So it's like teamwork between groups to get something done?
That it is. For example, you could say two political parties formed a coalition to create a new education plan.
Okay, like when groups put aside differences to achieve something bigger. Am I right?
Yes, you got it. You're right. Now let's talk about governance.
Governance. Is that about how a country is run?
Yes, governance refers to how a country, company, or an organization is managed. Good governance leads to a stable and successful society.
So it's how things are organized and managed by leaders?
You're spot on. For example, you could say, good governance helps a country grow and stay stable. Alright, now we're at the third segment. We'll be talking about common political expressions. Now let's dive into some common phrases. First up is power grab.
Power grab? That sounds intense.
It is. A power grab is when someone tries to take control in an unfair or forceful way.
So is it like when someone tries to take over without permission?
Yep, that's right. For example, you could say, the leader changed the laws to stay in power and people called it a power grab.
Gotcha. So what's next?
Next, we have red tape. This refers to too many complicated rules or procedures that make things difficult.
I see. So it's like when you have to fill out lots of forms just to get something simple done?
Yep, you're right. Example, you could say, starting a business takes a long time because of government red tapes.
That sounds frustrating.
It can be. Finally, we have lame duck. A lame duck refers to a leader who is still in power but doesn't have much influence anymore.
So they're still in charge, but their power is fading.
That's right. For example, after the new president was elected, the current leader was seen as a lame duck.
I see.
Now, let's use these words in a real conversation. I'll start and you follow after me. I think good governance is important for a country's success.
Yes, but sometimes bureaucracy makes things slow and difficult.
That's true. In some cases, political groups form a coalition to get things done, though.
Exactly. And diplomacy is important to keep peace between countries.
See, now you're using the words. All right, to recap and challenge yourself, let's quickly review today's keywords: legislation, policy, diplomacy, bureaucracy, coalition, governance, power grab, red tape, and lame duck.
Here's a challenge. Try using at least 3 of these words in a conversation this week. You can even write a social media post using them.
And before we go, let's do a quick quiz. I'll say a word and you try to remember what it means. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
First word, bureaucracy.
I think it's when there are too many rules and procedures that slow things down.
Great. Next word, coalition.
I think it's when different groups of parties work together to achieve a common goal. Is it correct?
Yep, you're right. You're correct. The last one is diplomacy.
That is when countries communicate and solve problems peacefully.
Yep, you're right. Great job. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening to Power of Words. Join us next time for a new theme and more useful words. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep building your vocabulary.
Thank you.